In the name of Allah, the most gracious, the most merciful. Hello and greetings. This is Muhammad Suleiman Ahmadzai with a new session for you, my friends. Today, we tried to see what we can do here. We have something called alarm and clock. If we want to open alarm and clock, as you know, it's in section A. It's in category A. We click here and it opens. Or we can right-click, select Pin to Start, and it will go to the Start menu. Or you can also have it on the taskbar. Or even easier, you can just type AL in the search, and it will open alarm and clock. When we enter alarm and clock, this kind of page opens up for us. This top part here is called the title bar. We have control box caption buttons. This menu is called the system menu. This part is called the tab bar. The tab bar is the row of tabs, and we have 4 tabs. The tabs are alarm, clock, timer, and stopwatch, and this lower part here is called the status bar. The first section is alarm. Right now, it's just like a mobile phone alarm. Let's set an alarm together. It's like setting a clock, like a regular alarm clock. You would wind it up, or you could even choose a sound for it. At that set time and date, it will give you an alarm and wake you up. On a computer, it's not used as much because usually your computer is only on for a couple of hours a day and then it's off, not running 24 hours. And if you set this alarm, it doesn't really make much of a difference. In general, the alarm isn't just for waking someone up. It can do other things like an alarm as well. For example, someone might say, well, I have a meeting at 12 o'clock. So, remind me at 11:30 so I don't forget. There's something I want to do. Or maybe I haven't printed a document, or I haven't emailed someone, for example. At different times throughout the day, from morning until we're in the office, we assign various alarms. Or, for example, it brings up a reminder. It reminds you of something. But on mobile phones, this role is very prominent. For example, the alarm that wakes us up, since our phones are on 24 hours a day. Even if the phones are turned off, if you set an alarm, it will automatically go off at that time. Especially simple mobile phones. So for now, how can we set an alarm here? The first thing we do here is come to this section and click on the plus sign. If you've tried before, we have something here called Help. This About section is information about the program itself, but if you want to update this, you will see each program showing its date. Some apps have their updates available in the App Store or Microsoft Store. Some of them are not. Try to always update. For example, even after installing Windows 11, these still need updating. If you don't update, it will still show you the previous versions. Alright, after this, we have something called Feedback. Do you know what that is? We have a section called Notification Settings. In the menu, it takes you into Settings and opens a section called Notifications. Notification and Actions, which, if you remember, we had already covered. I had explained this part to you. When I went into Notifications, it would open this option for us. I went through all these options, like which sections should send notifications and which options should or shouldn't be in the quick panel. It was in the 3rd or 4th video that we covered this section. We didn't go through all of it. We only covered Notifications and Actions. So, what are we going to do here together? The first thing we do is click on the plus sign. After that, we set an alarm. Before we select the alarm, we can give our alarm a name. We can label it. For example, what is the purpose of this alarm? Is it to wake us up from sleep? Or does it remind us to do something, like pray, attend a meeting, or send someone an email? In short, you can give it any title here. Any title you want. Well, honestly, I can't think of a title right now to write, in Persian or English. Anyway, they've written a title for it. In the sound section, obviously, we set which sound this alarm will use. Alright, I'll select this one. Finally, the alarm is set. It also asks us one more thing. From what time should the alarm repeat? When you set it once, it can repeat for you at whatever time you want. It's the same on mobile phones too. On your mobile, if you set an alarm just once, if you select repeat once or once only, then that morning, it will wake you up just that one time. But if you haven't set it again for the next morning, it won't wake you up the next day. But some people set it up so that, no, it goes off every morning at that time. They need to do this every day. It has a special setting for that. It's the same here as well. If we don't change any of these settings, then it's just a one-time only thing. It will only remind you that one time at that specific time. After that, it won't bother you anymore. But if you tell it otherwise, no. For example, you can set it to remind you every Sunday, or every Saturday, or any specific day you want. Or you can just say you want it every day. You can select all of them. Then, when you switch it from this mode to every day, it changes. Basically, it will also show you options like every Sunday, every Friday, or every Sunday and Friday. But if you select all of them, obviously it becomes every day. So every morning at that set time, it will remind you. There's another feature called snooze. Snooze is, for example, when your alarm clock goes off and you want to stop it for a while. Meaning you dismiss the reminder. You turn it off. Then, until the next morning, it won't do anything. The alarm won't activate again. But in the next step, we click on the snooze option. It turns itself off for a few minutes. Then it starts again. We see that we can set how many minutes it should be. We can even decide not to have it at all. Or we can choose between different times. Okay, I'll choose 10 minutes. So whenever someone hits snooze, it stays quiet for 10 minutes and then starts again after 10 minutes. Alright, let's give it a name. Now let's choose its time. We can, for example, set the hour. Select the minute, second, and AM/PM. They know that, for example, from midnight to noon is AM, and from noon to midnight is PM, for example. So now, let's make a selection. Let's say it's 8:58 PM for now. For example, at 8:59, what should it do for us? Let's set an alarm. Then we hit save. We could have also clicked the cancel button. If you chose cancel, it would have been canceled. Now we have one alarm set. We can have, say, 5 or 6 alarms. One for the morning, to wake you up, for example. Another alarm to remind you of something. One to send an email to someone at 11 o'clock. And for example, at 12:30, this alarm goes off to let you know it's prayer time. In short, we can set different alarms. Here, when we click on plus, again, we can set 5 or 6 more. And here, there's an option left that, if you want, you can leave it as is. We can only set it for any day we want, and it will go for tomorrow. For example, I didn't select every day. I just chose once. Then, the next day, I would just need to come back and set the alarm again. We would just do this at the plus button. So look, now it's 59, and the alarm came to us directly. Instead of this, it also has a dismiss option. It has a snooze option if I clicked on snooze. For the next 10 minutes, it wouldn't bother us, and after 10 minutes, it would start again. Here again, we can choose, or with the default gate, we can choose not to. The default is 10 minutes, but if I select dismiss, then that's it turns off. Try to notice that when we turned it off, it didn't disappear from here. Why? Because here we had selected every day, so this one is always active. It does this every day as well. Whereas if, for example, we hadn't done this, if we hadn't set it to one time only, or if we had set it to just one day a week. Now, if we look at this system, you'll see it has a delete button here, a cancel button, and a save button. We're going to save this. Now, since this is set to once, if I click the alarm just one time, it will turn itself off, but it won't be deleted. It will still be here, as Pasha would say, as an alarm. Tomorrow, for example, if you have something to do at the same time, just like on a mobile phone, you simply turn this on and its time is already set. Well, again, it's up to you. If you want to change the time, you can come and change it, but we didn't want to change anything. You just turn it on and off, unless, for example, its time isn't set to only once, in which case it's always on by itself. There's no need to turn these on and off. For example, if you have 2 or 3 alarms, like if I have another alarm set for a different time. Let's say you save another alarm, for example, and then later you change your mind about the time. If you want to delete one of these alarms, you just click on select. You can also do it like this. For example, I can just swipe here to delete, but if there are a lot of them, like 20 or 30, you select them. From here, for example, it says I need this alarm right now. Right now, we don't have just one task. We have 2 tasks or 3 tasks. Isn't that right? If we had marked the names more clearly, it would have been better for 1 or 2 people. Here, we come and tell it to delete. If there are 20 alarms, you select all 20 and they get deleted. If we didn't want that, we would see it. We never have an alarm for work. If there's nothing, we can delete it. There really shouldn't be an alarm here at all. In another section, we also have something called clock. Some people made a mistake with this clock, thinking it was related to this clock. It's actually related to changing and converting the time. If the time is wrong, or there are changes, it's not because of that. That has its own separate settings. This clock is like a regular clock. It's for checking time in different countries. With mobile phones, people set it up themselves, or instead of using their phones, they've seen it somewhere else. In some places, when you buy a ticket, there are analog clocks showing the time. One shows Doha time, someone else's, and so on. It displays the time for us, but on a mobile phone, we can do this ourselves. On a mobile phone, it is the standard. For example, the time in Houston, USA, or Ankara, Turkey. These four that we need, it shows the time for all four. In America, some people who know how to check what's the current time in America. I rely on this. How many hours? 10 hours difference. We can easily figure it out. Let's go to the clock. In the clock section, the first thing it does is show the local time, which is what it is right now, for example. It shows, say, 2 minutes p.m. and the date and time. This is your computer's local time. You can't delete it from there, nor can you do anything else with it. But if you want, you can pin it to start, and it'll go there for you. It pins this section to the start menu. It shows the date and time, meaning the local time. And from here, again, if you want, for example, the turn live tile option, you don't turn it off, because it doesn't interfere with our game. Basically, we want it to show us the date we selected. It's like it displays it right here. Or sometimes it just brings its shortcut here, so whenever you open Start, you can see what time it is from here. It shows you the date and also the local time, meaning the time from here. Well, if we didn't want it, we could unpin it, and we can even choose its size and different options. Make it larger. If we don't want it, we just say we don't want it at all. Here in the place, we can just pin and unpin it. We can't delete it. I mean, if there are several, we can delete one of them. But this local time has to be there. It's based on the computer, so we can't delete it. But if, for example, we want it on the page, the map of countries' times is like we have on our phones. You had checked it yourself. It shows you the time from other countries. Again, we can come here, click on the plus sign at the top, and say, for example, I also need the time for Iran. Which city? Well, Iran isn't that big. All its cities always have the same time, but that's not the case for some European countries. For example, in America, everyone is like us. Our relatives are in Texas, others in Washington, D.C. There's about a 1.5 to 2 hour difference. That's just how it is in America. But here, for now, there's a 1 hour difference between Kabul and Iran. For us, it's 9-4. For them, it's 1 hour ahead. It's 8-4. They're 1 hour ahead of us. So in this way, the map shows it more clearly. That's how the year keeps going. I want, for example, to also see Istanbul's time for us, Turkey's time. We'll select Istanbul, Turkey. Try to see, Istanbul is currently 1.5 hours ahead of us. Right now, it's 7:34 p.m. there. For example, let's say my relatives are in America. I'd say, we want to select America there. For instance, Texas is farther from us, Texas. We click on Texas. Alright, try to find the city in Texas, and right now, it's there. It's 10:35, just like we mentioned earlier on the phone. It's 10 in the morning there. And this shows us that it's 10 hours behind us. Why does it say behind or ahead for us? So that someone can understand, for example, what the date is over there. For instance, let's say it's Monday for us and you. When, for example, it becomes midnight here, it turns into Tuesday for us. But over there, it's still Monday until it hits midnight there. So this way, we can have the times of several countries together with you. So whenever you come here, it will directly show you this much as well. It shows the times of different countries. If you set your phone here, especially for those who, for example, book their tickets, it can automatically have the times of several different countries for you, and you can get this information. If we want, we can set it up to compare, or it can just do the comparing itself. For now, for example, we can simply move the time forward or backward by a few hours. But by default, it's not used that much. Either we just use it as is, or there are more advanced options. If we want to delete something, for example, if someone wants to delete a student, for example, we tell it that the local time can't be deleted. But if we want to delete other times, like Iran time or other time zones, but if we want to delete them all at the same time instead of one by one, again, we say nothing is selected, so we select those 3 others and tell it that it also has a cancel option. Okay, it's deleted, we click on it. In the end, it gets deleted. Now, we have another feature called timer. We understand both the timer and the stopwatch. For example, let's look at the timer. Most of the time, you've probably seen that we set a time for something, like asking someone to finish something at the coffee shop within a certain time. For example, we go somewhere. They tell you that it's a test. It's a test. For example, they tell you that your test is 20 minutes long and it must be finished within 20 minutes. A timer is set. You rely on the timer. Other students keep asking every minute how many minutes are left. A teacher doesn't announce the time every minute. Finish up. There, it shows 2 minutes left, 5 minutes left. The timer is visible right on the screen. And as soon as the time is up, you have to immediately put down your papers and your pen and leave. This is a well-known practice here. We set the timer like this. For example, the clock even shows the date. We can choose any title we want for this timer, like exam or anything else. It can be titled as such. Here, we can also set the minutes and seconds to be even higher. It's possible that the exam is the same but lasts 2 years. In my opinion, for now, I only care about the minutes. I don't need the seconds. For example, we just set a 5-minute timer, or a 15-minute timer, or a 20-minute timer. For instance, the exam could be 20 minutes long. Overall, we set the exam title as a 20-minute test. We don't accept exam. If you accept cancel, we say play, and it starts again. From here, the well-known 20 minutes starts overall. I remember that, overall, we wouldn't start right away. A few minutes after that, everything would be distributed along with these sheets. Then we come back here and say play again, and that's it. For example, the timer stays on the screen. We can maximize the timer so everyone can see it from a distance. For example, in a place where there's a class, the LCD is on. So in the place where the exam is held, for the language section of the test we had, just as I said, a time was set. For example, the exam section was frozen from here. In the English section, we test the whole grammar for this team. We also give language exams in other countries. The first questions are presented to you. For example, it's the reading section. It has a set time. Everyone comes and reads. After that, the time ends. Then it starts again. In the listening section, it would stop the timer, leaving paragraphs blank. There, in the listening section, you just listen to what the speakers say, fill in the blanks, and then the time ends. Then the writing time starts. And depending on whether it's 20 or 30 minutes, that time comes. You have to consider whether you need to write more paragraphs. Then comes the spelling section, and after that, grammar is tested again. In short, it has these different sections. Again, depending on the timer. Whether there are 5 minutes left or 2 minutes left, that's how they would set the timer. Of course, the timer is very useful, because it can be maximized or minimized. Everyone can see it. That's why we can temporarily stop it. For example, if there's a discussion, a topic comes up, and the teacher wants to explain something. If they want it to be included in the lesson time, they temporarily pause it. For instance, they paused it here so that any extra information, like maybe someone comes in and talks for 5 minutes about the exam, doesn't get counted. The students say, don't take this time out of our exam time. So the teacher stops the timer for 5 minutes. Some students leave the classroom. Then everyone comes back to their questions, and then it continues again. If you want to reset it again, you can reset it. It's possible. For example, you can set 5 or 6 timers. Then again, just click on plus. Then go and select another timer. In another scenario, you can select several timers at once. You can set timers for different topics. If you want, you can even pin one of the timers. We select it. So we select the same one again. Look, we can delete one of them. From there, we can select it. Let's delete it. If it's unique, we don't need to do anything. We delete it. This is where we click the pin button at the top. This tool will pin it, just like earlier when we pinned the clock and date. So we call it unpin for this one. Alright, here too, whenever we want, if we don't need it anymore, we can say delete for it. There's no need for a timer. But the stopwatch is different. For example, the stopwatch is used more often in competitions. In competitions, for instance, if you've seen the Guinness World Records book. For example, other topics like push-up competitions, for instance. Like you go there. I want to set a record in the Guinness competition. Again, it tells you that the current Guinness record holder, for example, has done 200 push-ups in 5 minutes, and then if you do even one more in 2 hours, you win. You broke the record. Other than that, nothing else. After the time when, for example, you started this competition, they just click the play button. You could even make it bigger like this so that people can see the competition on the screen. Or make it smaller. It doesn't matter. In each part, you give them a sign or a mark. Meaning, at such and such time you did this, at such and such time you did that. You can choose a mark and record the total time. The way we record the time depends on the mission plan. For example, in your unit, it's based on the competition record. Whether it's 2 minutes, 1 minute, a few seconds, directly to that. It stops. 1 is the timer itself, And another person has also counted it. For example, the instructor is there. He has a stopwatch. You do the push-ups. He has counted the machine, the knees. After that, when the time is up. For example, it might be that the whole challenge is, say, 45 seconds. This directly stops at 45. Overall, we worked with you on the functions of the alarm clock, timer, and stopwatch. And finally, dear friends, we ask you that if you found the videos useful, please like the videos to support us and help the channel grow. Subscribe to the channel. Hope to see you in the next sessions, and goodbye.